Hi, David here, CEO and founder of the Freedom Founders community. I don't know where you are in your career path, what age you are, where you are in your practice growth, with your family, with your visions, with your dreams. I don't know where you are. But here's what I do know, that with the hard work, the education, the time we put into our skill sets to go out and give care to our patients. I'm speaking probably to a lot of dentists, probably other healthcare professionals here today. With that blessing, that privilege, and the hard work and dedication to get you there, and it's well deserved, that provides a level of complacency. Now you're thinking, what do you mean, David? I go to work every day, or I go to work every scheduled day that I have. I work hard. I dedicate to the cause. No, I know that. I get that. What I'm saying is the complacency comes from what I call the high income, high net worth conundrum. Yes, with the hard work that you do, you should be able to earn a higher than average income. I assume most of you do. And from that, you're able to live a pretty darn good life, irrespective of all the issues that go along with the ownership of our practice and dealing with staff and insurance and paying taxes. And yeah, there's a lot that goes with that, but we do get a privilege. It's a first world problem, as I call it. And with that privilege comes a level of complacency, or really what I call the conundrum. That is, we get comfortable in the fact that as long as we can go to work, as long as we want to go to work, we can produce. We can make that income. And yes, there's weeks and days when it's a drag, but you just stay the course because that's what we've been told. We've been told this is the way you do it. And you have some great memories with your kids. You take them for some great vacations, and they can go to good schools or take private lessons, and you can go to nice dinners, and you can have a vacation home, and all those things are nice. And I'm not saying you shouldn't do them. Here's the problem. We focus so much in our life, and this is what we're taught in school, to focus on the education, get the degrees, get the license, get the certification to do that high-level work, solving high-level problems, get paid well, transactional income, and that's where we all start. The problem is that transactional income is only there if you go to work. You know that. Yes, you can bring in associates, partners, you can have hygienists, you can have auxiliaries do a certain amount of the work, but when are you really free? When are you really free from having to go to work? It's when you have assets, when you have investments that can replace your lifestyle burn rate, what you need to serve your family. That's when you have true freedom. It doesn't mean that's the day you retire. It doesn't mean that's the day you quit. Not at all. In fact, I would hate to think about quitting or retiring. I always want to have the ability to evolve to a next stage in life, a next place where I can have maybe greater impact than I have today, doing things differently, maybe not bending over a chair every day for years and years and years. I had the blessing, I guess the privilege of doing that in my own life, not because I necessarily had a game plan for a certain date. That came with my daughter's health situation. Some of you know the story. She's a survivor of early childhood leukemia, which was devastating to our family. In fact, the marriage to her mother didn't make it through that. No fault of anybody's. We continued to co-parent her for many, many years, and she's a thriving young adult today. But she went through more issues after that. She had uncontrolled epileptic seizures for ages 8 to 12. And then at age 12, she was in end-stage liver failure. Had to have a transplant. Was blessed to have a transplant, I should say. Had to have one to survive, but blessed to have a grantor who gave up that organ from their family's child who lost their life in a terrible automobile accident. Saved her life, but it also was a wake-up call for me in my own life. And what was I doing? Yeah, like everybody here, like everybody watching this, hardworking, providing for my family. But I was torn. I was torn between the responsibilities of owning, managing, taking care of a practice, the staff, the patients, the associate doctors that I had through the years. That was all great. But the problem is I wasn't able to focus on my family, my daughter, particularly when she needed me. We take a lot for granted in our lives. We all do. I did. Taking that for granted was something that I couldn't do any longer. And that's when I realized, or asked myself the question, really, for the first time ever, how much is enough? Because until we really look at that and answer the question, how much is enough, we'll keep on going. We think we're serving our families. We think we're doing the right thing. We'll justify our hard work. I know. I'm a builder. I'm a driver. I still am to this day. But I made some significant changes in the way I did it. And I couldn't just do that on a whim. I couldn't just make it up and go, well, my daughter's been sick. I just need to quit everything and go spend time with her. That seems rational, but it's also emotional. I had something to back that up. And what I had to back it up was the earlier years, my curiosity when I was in college. Before I went to dental school, I was studying on my own outside of the normal scholastic courses that we had to take, how to invest money. I read books on the stock market, mutual funds, and that was interesting, but I just didn't realize that there was any control there. I read books on real estate and thought this makes sense. And again, without belaboring my story, I convinced my dad back in 1980, yeah, that's 44 years ago, to be my co-investor, be my financial partner in buying the first rental property, and the rest is history. I went on to become a dentist and have my own practice like most everybody here that's listening today. But on the side, I was building up the compound effect, and I call it the compound effect. Small decisions, small acquisitions, learning to manage a small real estate portfolio, and not commercial. This is what I call bread and butter rental properties in my own backyard, if you will. Boots on the ground. I learned how to do it. It took a lot of time. It took a lot of dedication. We didn't have our child, Jenna, until I was almost 36 years old. So you can see there was a pathway here that maybe doesn't fit for everybody, but what I'm giving you is the nuts and bolts of why tangible assets. Your business is a tangible asset. Real estate is a tangible asset. And when I needed to make that decision to whether or not I could leave the practice of dentistry, at least for a time, I had to justify it by, well, do I have enough? Well, enough what? Replacement income. Yeah, see, net worth is one thing. To have money stashed in tax brokerage accounts or in tax deferral accounts like 401ks, that's great. It makes you kind of feel good inside. I'm doing something. I'm following the path, and I should have enough. But no one ever tells you really how much is enough. And not to say you should ever quit wanting to build. I am a builder. I'm still a builder today. Not because I need more. It's just a way to measure and actually have more impact. Because I don't have to do things for money. I can actually be more impactful and more significant for my family, number one, and for the people I serve in the Freedom Founders community. This is where I want you to be. Not only did I do this for myself, but now I've helped hundreds of other doctors and their spouses take all their hard work and all the usually disparate or randomized investments they have, including the equity in their practice, commercial buildings, 401ks, tax brokerage accounts, crypto, whole life insurance, annuities, all the other stuff they've been sold, thinking that they're doing the right thing. And the problem is it's just all randomized. I call it spaghetti on the wall. Can't spit it out. Spaghetti on the wall investments that are just all over the place. And when they learn to see that they actually have some net equities that could be consolidated and redeployed back to what I think we all love is tangible, hard assets, like your business. Financial products maybe have a place somewhere, and I'm not saying not to have financial products like stocks and mutual funds. You may like that, and that may be a part of your diversification. I get it. But until you really see what tangible assets can produce without you having to go to work, I call it set it and forget it. Now, you have to know how to do that. You don't just go on the internet or call a financial advisor and say, I want that kind of stuff. This is what most people don't understand. It takes a reinvestment. You invest in yourself all along through your life and your education. You invested in yourself to build a practice or acquire a practice. You continue to invest in yourself with your skill sets. All important investments and reinvestments. Understanding how money works is the reinvestment that most of you have not even touched. It's been the default mode that Wall Street tells you, your CPAs, your financial advisors, just give your money to us. We'll manage it for you. We'll save you on taxes, all the same grandiose schemes that never pan out. Why do I know that? Because I talk to hundreds of hardworking, high-income professionals every year. And most of them have amassed a nominal amount of equity and net worth. But again, it's all spread out. It's not organized. It's not based on a game plan that allows them to see milestones to set them free. That's where the problem comes. There's just no plan, no organization. Until you're willing to reinvest in yourself, and I mean this sincerely, with all my heart, and decide and commit to understanding how money can work for you. You know how to make the money, but how money can work for you. Until you decide you want to learn how to do that, and you don't need to go back to school and get an MBA in finance or real estate. Not necessarily. I don't have one, but you can learn this. What I've done is taken all my years of experience, my network, and folded that into a community called Freedom Founders. Freedom Founders is a community. Every time people come and join, they say, I had no idea what this was about. Some people think, well, they're just going to sell me real estate. They're going to, just like any other syndicator or promoter out there today, they're just going to sell me more stuff. No, I don't sell you anything. It's all membership driven. I don't take any fees or commissions off of what the investments are. What we do is that together as a community, we leverage all of our capital and we have curated investments, due diligence done, financial side, retains CFO, Chief Financial Officer, securities attorney, who help us vet through the vast network that I have, and we bring to the table an array of investments that can fit all seasons. That's another part of it. Where do you invest and how do you invest? That's going down another area of rabbit hole that I won't do today. But my point is, until you're ready to commit and reinvest in your future, it's not only your future, but it's really the future of your kids and maybe your grandkids or nieces and nephews, because they're going to need to understand these fundamentals also wherever they decide to invest. Understanding the principles of how money works, understanding things about taxation, where this country is going, where the markets are going. If you're not willing to do this, then you're abdicating your future to other people who may not be bad people at all, but are they going to look out for your money, for your interests as much as their own? No, it's just human behavior. You have to understand where the incentives are. The incentives for most advisors and people who, quote, sell investment products is to sell you those investment products. And hopefully they believe in them, but are they the right season for you? They only have a certain menu. I'm agnostic. I just bring the best of the best. And I'm doing this for myself and my family, along with all of our other Freedom Founders members. If this is something that you've been looking for, but you've been a little bit scared, because I get it, because you've probably taken other steps in the world of finance and been burned here, there, everywhere. It happens all the time. I can tell you this, until you cross the threshold of Freedom Founders, you don't know what exists out there that you haven't seen. The realization, the epiphanies that I see when we do new member Freedom Blueprint weekends, small group, spouses come. They have conversations like they've never had before about their finance, about their future. Visions and dreams that were laid out years and years ago when they got married and were starting a family, and then somehow they just dissipated. And now they're on just a regular robotic path to where? To what? To when does this end? When can we actually have some peace of mind, take some stress off? The lights go on at our Blueprint weekends, and that the community supports the vision, the dreams, the milestones, the goals, specific goals that we set together on a customized basis for each of our couples. And the transformations that happen through this process is what gets me up every day. If you've been looking, you've been searching for where's the answer, where can you get clarity? Because you need clarity and focus. Working harder is not a bad thing, but it's not going to get you where you want to go. I know that. As hard working as you are, as much capital as you are able to make and amass, I know in your heart you don't really know where this ends up. You're hoping, you're keeping your fingers crossed, but that's not a plan. So if you've been thinking about it, you've been wondering, should I do this? There's no time like the present. Your fears are going to get in the way every time. Your uncertainty. Don't want to make another mistake. Well, I can assure you that we do heavy vetting before we let somebody into Freedom Founders. So you can see a process that works right in front of you, where I'm not here to sell anybody anything. I just love to help people. If I can make a difference for one more couple that makes a difference for their family and their vision and how they can be productive and give back and pay it forward the same way, then I've made an impact. And that's what my life's about today. So if you're thinking about it, I'd say just fill out the application, schedule a call with one of my team members, and this may put you, I tell you, this will put you on the path to clarity, number one. And whether you decide to take a step forward and go forward, that's up to you. But taking the first step is the first way to make a move in your life. Staying stagnant is not going to change your life. You know that. I know that. It's all up to you. Hope to talk to you soon.